Okay, I think we will start. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. My name is Maxi Rödel. I'm an intern at University of Applied Sciences in Rovaniemi in Finland. And I'm working for the Tourbit project. And today we have the 5th webinar in our series, deep dive sessions about technologies to foster digitalization in tourism. And today we are talking about cloud computing. Cloud computing can make your company more integrated and manage data and documentation efficiently. So it's a really important and interesting topic. And I will share my screen to show you our agenda today. So my colleague Marta Salvador from Portugal will tell you a little bit about our Tourbit project and what it's all about. And then we have three experts talking today. So number one is Harej from Arctur in Slovenia. He will talk and give us an introduction into cloud computing in tourism. After that, we will hear two use cases. One from Catalonia, Ruben Herrera from Alto Stratos will talk to us. And after that, we have a second use case from Daniel Barbosa from Portugal. So now I will give the floor to Marta, and she will tell you a little bit about the Tourbit project.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar on cloud computing. Well, my name is Marta Salvador. I work for NEST, Tourism Innovation Center in Portugal. I would like to make a short presentation on the Tourbit project for those of you who haven't heard of it yet. So as Maxi has told us, well, the project title, the name is a Tourbit, and it is with the title of Fostering Digitalization for European Tourism SMEs. So our program has started in the beginning of this year on January 2022, and it will last about 30 months, so until 2024. Sorry, Maxi, can you go? Yes. So this project comes within the COSME program, which is the name for the competitiveness of enterprises, the small and medium enterprises. And the topic is on the uptake of digitalization in the tourism sector. For this project, the project coordinator, it is the Catalan Tourism Board. And Maxi, can you please change now? And for this project, we have seven entities, seven countries represented from different 8 entities. And so, as I've already told you, the Catalan Tourism Board from Spain, from Catalonia. Also, we have the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce. From France, we have the Welcome City Lab from Parisian company. Arctur, represented also here today from Slovenia. From Belgium, we have the clusters Hospitality Brussels. From Iceland, the Iceland Tourism Cluster. Maxi, coming from the Lapland University of Applied Sciences from Finland. And at the last one, Portugal, as I already explained. So the general objective for this program, it is to support the tourism SMEs in the uptake of the digitalization and innovation by fostering their skills, their knowledge, and most of all, their network. We do this with a methodology, which is by rolling out a transnational and across ecosystem supports, which is based on 3 pillars that I will shortly and briefly explain. Maxi, can you just pass the next one? So as I was saying, this whole scheme, it has 3 components. The first one, which is the learning phase, it's the one that we are having at this moment. It is, well, we have several activities. One of those, it is these 7 webinars, which we call them deep dives, which are basically what we call experts from different areas, which will explain us to all these technologies and help us to learn more about all these 7 technologies. Today is the 5th, we have 2 more to go. Then we also have a digital readiness index tool for the tourism SMEs to adopt an online tool where they can assess their level of digitalization, and from there they get a report with recommendations and that they can level up. And hopefully the next year, the year to come, they can assess as well again and to see their evolution within the digitalization area. Then on level 2, on the build, which will happen very soon, we encourage the tourism SMEs to work together. And from this, we will have some workshops of co-creation. We'll have a hackathon where they can prototype new ideas to implement. And also we have built a tourism, an online community where we invite you all to join us and to, to engage and to share your ideas and your doubts and everything about the program. And at least the last phase and the culmination on this methodology, it is the phase of test and implement, which culminates in an acceleration program where we put forward a proposal for a digitalization program where we where the SMEs will receive a funds between 8,000 euros and 9,000 euros to implement their projects on digitalization so that they can level up. So this is it. Mostly I've condensed a little bit. You can find more information on the Tourbit website, which I think Maxi will invite you all to join in the end. So it is from this. Thank you, Maxi.
Okay, thank you very much, Marta, for this presentation. So now we will talk about cloud computing and how it will help tourism SMEs to move forward in digitalization. And I will give the floor to Jan, and he will talk about cloud computing in depth. So here you go, Jan.
Thank you. Okay, so let's begin. Yeah, hello all and welcome to an introduction to cloud computing in tourism flows. I'm Jan, lead DevOps engineer at Arctur. First of all, a bit about Arctur. We have 30 years plus experience in high-tech innovation. We also work a lot on some research and development projects with international business partners, where we include a lot of new technologies, and we research a lot of the new areas in IT departments. For the purpose of this presentation, it probably would be nice to mention that we also have our own private owned HPC cluster. This one is extensively used, not only from our side, but also from the people's side, organizations, or everybody who wants to rent it to run some computations on it and so on. We, besides web applications and research and development, we also have some experience in Industry 4.0 or Tourism 4.0. For this presentation, we work a lot with HPC, big data analytics, for instance, collecting data from IoT devices and then analyzing them with AI, machine learning, to gather some interesting facts from it and so on. Okay. So let's start with cloud computing. What is cloud computing? So we hear a lot of people talking about cloud computing. They work with a cloud, they work on a cloud, but not everyone knows what that actually is or what that actually means. So this technology has been quite popular has become quite popular in the past few years, and it's quite a growing purpose of computation in our field. So let's first of all define what this cloud is. What does it mean? Is this an HPC, a server, a web service, or is it an application maybe? Well, yeah, that's actually a cloud. It's a cloud, but obviously it's not a cloud, so to say. But it actually is. What a cloud is, if you think about it, is we always see them up in the sky, in the air, far up, and what they do, we presume we know what they do. They collect all these tiny raindrops together, create moisture in the air and pour it on the ground from time to time. But we can take this analogy and bring it to the technical cloud, and we can say that it's pretty much the same. We presume that we know what they do, but we actually don't know how they do it, how the HPC runs behind it. We only use the cloud. And these clouds, they collect all this data for us, and they aggregate them in these clusters of theirs, much like the real clouds do with the tiny raindrops. And they pour this data to us when we need them to. They send us this data. And also, we don't really directly deal with clouds. We don't touch them in real life, and we also don't touch them in technical fields. We only access them through some applications, services, and similar applications. We can further apply this knowledge to find some uses for this cloud concept, for this new cloud concept. So a cloud is usually not a place where we can do stuff. It's usually a place where we can do a lot of different stuff at the same time. Computing in a cloud is actually anecdotally interesting, because we want to have the full capabilities of an HPC cluster, but we don't actually want to deal with it. We just want to use it. We want to have the computational power. We want to deploy our apps, and that's it. Also, we want to compute something. We want to, for example, compute some artificial intelligence models. We want to build some models up, but we don't actually know how the HPC is working behind it, as we said before. And that brings us to this funny concept, because we don't actually know when the job is going to be finished, or how is it going to be finished. We don't actually care about it. And we call that eventual consistency. And that's actually a big part of cloud world. Everything runs, everything is executed eventually, but consistently. We can also, as I mentioned, run some heavy computations on these clouds, because they are able to handle all these requests from millions and millions of users, and they are also able to handle our computations or simulations of some sort. Let's check the known clouds and their uses currently. So here we have listed 3 popular clouds nowadays. So this is Google Cloud, Azure, Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS, and all these clouds, they have similar architectures behind them, similar use cases. They are mostly made up of microservice architectures. They are similar in the way they operate. They they serve us to actually deploy applications. So they serve us as a platform in a case. We can use them to deploy applications. We can effortlessly execute some computationally hard problems on it. We can run some scripts on it without even knowing how that's gonna run on a server, let's say. It's actually a simplification of programming, let's say. So at first glance, we have this clouds. It can let us deploy apps, use already prepared services, implementations, or applications that can aid us in our development. But besides that, at first glance, it seems like there's nothing more. But if we think about it a bit, we see that Google, a big company, it serves globally to millions and millions of users, and it serves different services. So Google has, for example, Google Drive. You may have heard of it, where you can upload files, you can upload videos, pictures, whatever, and you can actually collaborate on editing a Word file or Excel spreadsheet file together through Google Cloud, or maybe Gmail, for example. Those are all services from Google that we use every day. But another interesting fact is, if we dig a little deeper and we think about what cloud even is, what the service actually could be, it's actually Facebook. We can say that Facebook is actually a cloud, or Facebook corporation, because Facebook lets you scroll through posts of pictures, of profiles of people, but you can also, through Messenger, send people messages. You can send them pictures, you can send them videos, you can talk to each other. The same goes for WhatsApp. That's also from Facebook, and Instagram, the same thing. We can view those videos that are posted. We can post them at the same time and talk to another person at the same time. So we have here a platform that allows us to communicate or to socialize with others, but it's still a platform. It offers us some services, some things that we can't actually grab, like the real cloud. We just use them, and we get them. We use them through clouds, through some interfaces. If you think about it, when we upload an image or a video, or send a video to a friend, that image needs to be first, of course, uploaded to the cloud. The cloud needs to receive it, to read it, and then it needs to compress it to a smaller size to effectively save it to its storage capacities. And that's not a problem if you have one image or one video to process. But when you have millions and millions of people chatting to each other, posting stuff on Facebook, Instagram, playing videos on the platforms, there's a lot of this request that cloud needs to handle. And actually, that's kind of a biggest advantage of the clouds, that it can run and simultaneously handle millions and millions of users and handle their requests at the same time in 1 second, let's say. So here is where the clouds actually shine. Apart from effortless deployments and already prepared services, and what we already talked about. And for the last part, I want to focus my attention to the tourism part, as we are here to present for tourism. So this is our concept, or actually a working example of our tourism cloud, which couples together a few products of ours. So there's first of all tourism impact model, that's actually analyzes and tracks tourism impact on some areas of effect that we measure, and then we can generate a report of those impacts on the area. What kind of impacts does tourism offer? Does tourism bring to that area? Does it raise the usage of water, or raises the amount of wastes that are produced through tourism, through the season of tourism? We can then connect this to the managing tourist flows, or just flows we call them, where we can count and measure the traffic and the movement of people through cities, through highways, and then we can analyze those flows and see where these flows lead to. And after all, we can actually analyze them and apply those knowledges to redirect those tourist flows somewhere else. So that's kind of a good thing to know if you'd like to redirect tourism to your city, or redirect it away from it. And many others products here. These products are all joined together in this collaboration platform, or cloud, as the user would see it. The user can then measure its tourism impact on some area, or it can follow flows, or it can, as for a matter of fact, we have another product here, Heritage Plus, that actually strives to achieve cultural heritage. It tries to preserve cultural heritage by 3D scanning old buildings and old cultural sites. We can then preserve them in 3D models, which people can actually observe and see. And if you think about it, that's quite similar to Facebook, that the example that I told you before about. So we have a lot of people viewing these 3D models, and simultaneously managing the flows, or analyzing the flows. Or we can run some computationally advanced scripts to actually analyze those data from all 3 products here, or many more products here. And this all can be managed with one cloud, or one, let's say, platform. And that's actually the beauty of a cloud. It can connect together different products and make them sensible in a way. So this, I think, is all from me, from my side. Thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer them, but probably at the end, right?
Yeah, thank you, Jan, for your presentation. Yes, I think we will leave all the questions for the end of the webinar.
Okay.
It was really interesting to listen to a presentation. I think everybody got a good picture now about what a cloud is and how it can be used. I personally liked your analogy of the technical cloud with the real cloud in the sky. So I think it's a good picture to grasp the concept of the cloud. Mm-hmm. And yeah, now I think it is really interesting to see how we can use this cloud in tourism. And we have 2 people today talking about this. First, we will listen to Ruben. He works at Alto Stratos in Spain, and he will give us an example how to use cloud computing, especially in tourism. So here you go, Ruben.
Thank you, Maxi. Okay, hello. My name is Ruben Herrera. I'm a data scientist in data and machine learning department for Alto Stratos solution that is part of Telefónica Tech. First of all, I want to transmit the apologies of Jose Luis Cerrada, our CTO. He had to do this webinar today, but he is struggling with Corona and he couldn't do it. After that, I'm glad to present you a use case in tourism sector for the artificial intelligence. And is that how to improve travelers' buying process through artificial intelligence. Based on the study of Travelport, that a customer visits 38 websites before doing a reservation, that brings really a big waste of amount of time and a frustrating traveler. I want to explain myself. I was trying to plan my holidays for the summer this weekend, and I had like a really precise hotels where I like to spend my holidays. Like, for example, my girlfriend is architect, and we like to go like these design hotels or boutique hotels, and do it for some reason late checkout. For example, this I need to study, and it's hard for me, and I was spending all my weekends planning that. Or you can imagine also if you have a pet, for example, a dog, or like Dali has an anteater bear, and you need to dig into the webs trying to find if they admit pets, or if you can plan this. That's why from Google and Autostratus, we propose to implement a Google solution, which is made of the combination of powerful tools that Google has to reduce and improve this time and also this frustration. AI, and in particular Google, has the specific tools to improve the customer experience and do it more efficiently. First, by cross-selling. Cross-selling means relating products that customer has interested in by offering personalized promotions based on his history of that particular customer, by selecting landing pages and categories, showing first, for example, what is most interesting in that customer, and offering services recommendations aligned with your business objectives. Also, it's remarkable that the market of artificial intelligence is growing incredible these days, and it's not more a futuristic panacea of a Netflix documentary, but is present and is reality. Google is a spearhead of technology, as you know, and especially for recommendation technology, has for sure the most powerful tools in the world to gather this data, like the Google Searcher, YouTube, Google Maps, Google Apps, and endless, etc. All is done in 3 simple steps that we propose. We can summarize this in first step we call put all your data to work. That means to collect and order all your useful data and all customers' data. Second step is quickly customize to fit into your business needs without data expertise or like big infrastructures. And final step is to deliver it anywhere the customer journey, the customer search, and all this experience, all with daily updating and improving methods. I will go a little bit further into these 3 steps. In the first step, we join together all data. In one hand, we have product details such as name, description, categories, price, all this, you have the product. And in the other side, the customer information such as geolocalization, email, connection times, history, previous search, and we put it together, we integrate it, all that we have multiple choices Google Cloud offers you, like such as cloud storage, BigQuery, also codeless ways to do it more easily, to do it more soft. Then the step 2 consists to adapt this technology to your own business needs. And you can customize it by choosing which kind of recommendation to have. For example, recommended for you based on the previous search, previous finds or reservations, or frequently booked together. Like if you buy this hotel, you book this hotel, is people normally do it with this gastronomic experience or something like that, or similar choices. If you like this hotel, this design hotel, you probably like the other one. Then, which goal to pursue, like click-through rate, conversion rate, or monetary profit per session. And finally, we can customize also, configure and adding filters to control out stock or duplicate or turn on, turn off specific rules for some dates, from some specific in your business. Then, finally, in step 3, we put this technology to work. And for example, we imagine some user searching for a hotel in Barcelona, that beautiful city where I live, in the Google search in his laptop. At this time, we offer the customer a particular recommendation of that hotel. After that, the same user comes again to our website, but not through laptop, instead of that, through mobile phone, and is interested in more details about that particular hotel. That's when, on what he looked and clicked and all the data we have gathered from this particular customer, we recommend, for example, a spa experience or gastronomic experience to go with that. And he likes and added to recommendation, this recommendation to the shopping basket. But for some reason, we're really busy today, but for some reason, the user abandoned this cart and did not book that order. Based on the next activity in the web, AI says to send him 3 days after an email with another personalized recommendation. That's when he finally decides to book some experience that fits into his specific demands. That is reducing time of searching to figure it out what's the business offer, and comparing and choosing. It's easier. Then, as we can see, when introducing advanced AI systems, customers experience significant results, growing in clicks through 90%, conversions also lift in 40%, revenue 50%. That is a tangible and substantial improvement in a customer satisfaction, what saves effort and time of the user and optimize business that would offer better experience. We have. Okay, Autostratus. One second, please. Here. Thank you. Autostratus Solution is a cloud consulting company with service end-to-end, partner premier of Google Cloud and part of the holding Telefónica Tech, that is the division of the cloud service of Grupo Telefónica. And we are specialists in software as a service, cloud infrastructure, data and smart analytics, and also artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I think that's all. Thank you for your assistance.
Okay, thank you, Ruben, very much for your presentation. This was really interesting. You pointed out really well how this technology can work, and you had practical examples what it's doing, for example, for the traveler. And I think this is really important to understand for tourism SMEs. So with these tools, they can offer a really smooth customer journey for their travelers. And in the digital age, I think this is really important. The customer wants to book really quickly and find the information quick as possible.
Exactly.
So for me, it was surprising that in average, a traveler is doing 38 clicks or visiting websites before booking.
Yeah.
So to summarize it and to help understand everybody, can tourism SMEs work with your company to offer these customer experiences more smoothly? Is that right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and as Tourbit is a European project, is Altostratos offering these tools also Europe-wide? Okay, thank you very much. So I think we will go on to the next speaker. Our next example comes from Portugal. And Daniel Barbosa is talking to us. He is working at NOS. So Daniel, here you go.
Hi everyone, good morning. Regarding Ruben talk about Barcelona, it's a beautiful city. Yes, I agree. So let's go in the use case. It's a use case using offer from NOS. My name is Daniel Barbosa. I'm head of cloud and data center facilities and solution architecture for B2B segments. Okay. Before we deep dive, just a few numbers about what is NOS. NOS is like a Telefónica in Spain. NOS is a telco operator. We have a lot of customers in the B2C segment with mobile, TV, and fixed voice customers. With a lot of this technology, we leverage the B2B segment, which I'm from. By the way, Jan talking about the three upper scales, that it's Google, AWS, and Azure. NOS, it's a partner from these three upper scales. So we have a lot of use case to bring, but because the time we have to bring only one, so it's very difficult. The use case that I talked about, it's about SAP. By the way, SAP, it's just let me point pointer. SAP, it's enterprise resource planning. So what is enterprise resource planning? It's the software that manages all the stuff that the organization have, like financial, human resources, supplies. It's it's enterprise resource planning. We talked about SAP, but we can fit, or we can dealing with use case with another kind of ERP. Just to recap, in the cloud service model, just a recap, because we have a lot of cloud service model. My use case is it will be about the PaaS, the platform as a service. What the difference between this service model? It's what it's managed by the customers and what is managed by providers. Okay, so I think Ruben talked about SaaS, software as a service. It's a software that is only totally managed by the provider, and the customer only use the applications, use the solution. This use case that I present, it's a platform as a service that we have a lot of components that managed by NOS, and the customer manage just the application and the data. Okay, and they have the traditional one. It's more common, it's IaaS, infrastructure as a service, and the on-prem it's like we have a dedicated servers inside my desk, below my desk, in some companies, and the customer manages all the things that have in the servers. This is just a recap, okay? Another topic before we keep diving in the past, when we talking about the cloud, we talked about the costs, and it's usually we make some comparisons regarding the on-premise. Okay, the on-premise is the normally recycle the servers. So normally we do some comparisons, the IT team and the business teams do some comparisons because regarding the on-prem and the cloud computing services. Just to mention that we have capacity demand, predicted demand in the on-prem. In the traditional hardware, we have to take in advance this capacity plan, so we have a lot of cost to prepare for this demand in the future. So normally when we reach the capacity, we normally buy more servers, and this more servers will have opportunity costs because we have to plan in the next months regarding this capacity. So we have this virtual cycles and take a cost to manage all these things. Okay, one of the difference is in the cloud services is the opportunity cost in the cloud service is more has more advantage because we don't need to spend a lot of money. We just increase the actual demand to the predicted demand more closer. Okay, so we need to consider the spikes in the demand curve. Typically in the on-prem, we have to 6 to 9 months in advance. So this takes cost because we have to buy servers, stores, and so forth to guarantee this demand. Other problems is the over provision. A study says that between 2015, organizations have over peak predicting demand to meet the spike workloads. This overcapacity leads a lot of underutilized resource. What this means in the other side is we have other indirect costs like CO2 emissions, because we're talking about this at these organizations. We talk about energy, the cost of energy, the cost of housing, put the server or these equipments in the data center. There is another indirect cost regarding this capex. Okay. And the study found that 30% of the server was utilized less than 10%. So we have a lot of computation that is not actually used. So this is a opportunity cost. In the cloud service, we can optimize all these things because we can increment the infrastructure as you go, as the business go. This is what I'm talking about in my use case. So as I mentioned, SAP workload is ERP, it's Enterprise Resource Planning. So manage all the stuff in the organizations, the majority of the stuff, of course. When you talk about not only SAP, but when you talk about the ERP workloads, we have IT business challengers, okay? So we can change or adapt this SAP HANA infrastructure adapted to your ERP solutions. So how can we take, or how can we have ERP infrastructure without a long purchase process? What this means that we have to put the purchase teams, depending on the size of the organization, we have to manage the IT, have to manage with the purchase team and create this process, talk with the supplies, collect the bids, negotiate with the partners, and so forth. So this process takes long. How can I have an infrastructure without facing capacity dilemma? This is what I spoke before. So we have the overcapacity or undercapacity. I had a customer that the two options. I had a customer that after 4 years of the service, they didn't use all the memory used for this infrastructure, the computation and the memory after 4 years. So probably these customers bought very very expensive equipments to guarantee that they had this capacity for the next years. And I have the opposite, that the customer that don't have a lot of money and cut some costs and reduce the capacity, the computation capacity. And this customer, for example, ran after 2 years, ran to buy a new appliance, a new SAP HANA appliance to run the annual reporting for the board, because the annual report has a lot of data. And in this example, these customers could not run this annual report because they have to deal with more data. So how can I optimize this cost or this project? When we talking about some kind of this project, we talking about a lot of phase. I mean, we have a phase that we probably have a POC, proof of concept, and then we have a small test team that will have to test the process of the applications in the quality ensure, and then we have to roll out the production systems and high availability, and sometimes the disaster recovery solution. So how can I optimize the customer that I have for this project? Because in the CapEx model, probably I have to buy and guarantee that I have this capacity for all this phase. In the cloud model, I can activate this environment only when the project demands. Another thing is the boring stuff that IT have to deal in, like hardware and operation system support. When they talked about PaaS, platform as a service, that is my case, we don't need to deal with this. Another thing is, how can I deal with the knowledge of the technology? I mean, in the past, a lot of tasks, boring tasks, is not focus in the business. A lot of technology functionalities and knowledge. In the past model, it's done by the operator, it's done by the provider. So in the small size, in small companies, most of the IT teams are small and don't have the knowledge to dealing with this. So the PaaS model can deal with this, because a lot of some tasks is dealing by the provider. So how can I have a solution that I can focus on my business, because I have to have a guest in my hotel. I have to guarantee a lot of things in the tourism sector, and I don't like to have to focus on the infrastructure and IT and so forth. So I have to focus on my business, guarantee that the customer satisfaction is good. I have to guarantee that IT is not a issue. So the SPARS model, it's a good one. Okay. So what is the value offer from our platform as a service? We have a complementary services that is a infrastructure as a service, the backup, and some options to high availability and disaster cover. So when we talking about only one server, probably we'll want to see a value offer, but when pick up another service in our portfolio, it's not about our portfolio this session. So I have I brought here just the portfolio that makes sense for this case. So the infrastructure as a service, the backup, and of course the SAP HANA as the platform as a service that I mentioned in this use case. One of the features performance, because the provider have to guarantee this performance and dealing with this the manufacturer, the supplies that I have the contract. I have the certifications. It's managed services, so the customer don't have to worry about some tasks. It's cost control. It's scalability and security. So we have our value proposed because we manage a lot of workloads in SAP, workloads in our customer base, not only SAP system workloads, but just to mention in this use case again, we had a lot of experience. We have a lot of experience in AWS and Azure and Google as well. We have operations 24 hours. We have a complementary offer to propose a best offer to solution. Two data centers in Portugal. You have a SAP basis to manage the SAP administration. You have a model pay as you go that differentiate from the CapEx and differentiate from the other OpEx scales. And we have a TCO reduction because the customer don't need to worry about the hardware and operation system support. We have this alliance with HPE, that is the SAP HANA appliance leader. We have a lot of scalability in our solution. We have mission critical systems with a lot of memory because SAP system is in memory database. We have in this contract some SLA with HPE that we can talk directly with SAP if we find a issue. So this is a practical use case. We have green the virtual machines. Virtual machines, it's like you have the servers that make a function in your company. We can virtualize the server and put the server virtualizing in the provider, like NOS or AWS or Azure or GCP. We have in our excuse, in our offer option to disaster cover solution in the remote site using the VMware. VMware, it's a virtualization hypervisor. So we have a IaaS, infrastructure as a service. This means virtual machines in another data center, because we have 4 distinct data centers in Portugal. In the north, 2 in north and 2 in south. In this case, we have SAP instance production with this memory, and another instance SAP systems for high availability, and then some other instance in the remote site to address the quality environment and development environment. And all this stuff are replicate to guarantee that the customers has the RPO and RTO, recovery point object and recovery time object, as much further as the solution can. So probably you have a lot of to talk about regarding the use case to bring in the terms. I brought this use case because actually we have small companies in the tourism sector that use the solution in Portugal. We have at least 2 already installed in using this solution overall. It's not, of course, it's not of this size, but different size, but some components of the solution. And of course, we can dealing with the solution in AWS, in Azure, GCP as well, because we have internal teams that can support the cloud journey for the customers. From my side, that's it. Please put any questions in the chat. I really appreciate this session, and have a nice week. That's it.
Yes, thank you very much, Daniel, for the presentation. I think it's really interesting to get different use cases from different countries in Europe. In the beginning, you showed us a really interesting table about what a company usually had to do when storing data. So they needed the server under the desk, and things are changing now, and more can be done with the cloud. So companies don't need this storage under the desk anymore. And I think different kind of tourism SMEs are listening today. So some of them might already using cloud computing in some parts, in some area of the business. Others are just at the beginning and thinking how they can use it. So these use cases help to understand what can be done with the cloud. And it's good to know that there are companies out there who can help with these technical things. And in your presentation, we heard that the science behind the cloud computing can be very technical. So a question for you is, Daniel, do tourism SME needs to know all these technical things in order to use the cloud?
Yes, we internally we have a phrase internally because we are a techno operator, and internally we have some sales team that came from telco because we have a telco base. And this journey to the cloud creates some initiatives to what we call cloud adoption framework. So we make a lot of sessions with the sales teams that don't have any knowledge, for example, in cloud. So we have some initiatives to make this cloud adoption and create the foundations to talk with our customers regarding the cloud adoption. Okay, but because as some colleagues, some speakers told us today, led to innovate and probably in the near future will decide who will live or not in the cloud. Because the business agility that cloud can provide is so much fast that in the previous solution like on-prem, yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. So if I understand correctly, then if a tourism SME would be interested to go for cloud computing, then they could contact you and you would work them hand by hand and find the right solutions,
Yes.
especially for their case.
Yes, we have this workshops, like I mentioned, that we call cloud adoption framework, and guide the customers to identify and qualify these opportunities and create a solution in the cloud.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes,
Thank
I
you.
hope that there was interesting and important information for everybody here today listening. So I had a look in the chat. At the moment, there are no questions, but feel free to ask our experts something. If you got any ideas or you got some questions about cloud computing and how to use it in tourism. So are there any questions? So obviously not. So Marta, did you come up with any idea or do you have any question?
Not at this point, Maxi, sorry.
Okay. So then thank you, everybody. We will wrap up this webinar. I'm really grateful that all the speakers came here to participate and provided our listeners with important information on this important topic. And I wish you all a very nice evening and afternoon. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.